Hello, and welcome back to RLCS Recap with your host, Marky Twobots. Today, we are going over the highlights for the Fall European Regional Event number 1 from a couple weeks ago. We will be taking a look at the highlights and breaking them down from quarterfinal games between Karmine Corp and Willams Resolve, and also BDS vs Evil Geniuses. We will also be going over the semifinals and the finals of this European event, so let's get into it. Getting into our first quarterfinals, and it's Team BDS. They'll take an early lead with Mark by not quite connecting with the double touch, but Monkey Moon was there to finish it off, and they get not one, but 2 goals to start off with a 2-0 lead. Evil Geniuses are able to come back and get a goal for themselves, but with time running out, and Evil Geniuses pushed forward to try to get an equalizer, as Team BDS that were able to finish off the game. And getting into Game 2, much like Game 1, BDS is able to take an early 1-0 lead off a loose ball in the midfield that Evil Geniuses can't defend. And BDS get not 1, but 2 goals in a matter of a minute in the game. Evil Geniuses were able to get 1 goal back with a nice passing play right in front of BDS's net. But just like Game 1, it was a little too late as BDS are able to score 3rd and put this game to bed. Into Game 3 we go, and BDS is able to get an open goal when a nice demo comes through, and they take the lead in the 3rd game just like the other 2. Evil Geniuses did show some fight back immediately though, and were the next ones to get a goal with a nice passing play in front of BDS's net. This game, however, was BDS's to win when they're able to get the 2nd goal and the last one of this game. So, it is Evil Geniuses that need a reverse sweep in order to make it to the semifinals, but it is not their game, and BDS get 4 unanswered goals and will complete the sweep, moving into the semifinals. While BDS looking good going into the semifinals, the other game, this is the Willams Resolve and Karmine Corp, started off with Karmine Corp taking an early lead, and would finish the game off with a nice redirect off the sidewall from Astral into the corner. Picking up where they left off is Karmine Corp in game number 2 as they look to score more goals, and they end up getting one at some nice backward play. It lets Astral put it into an empty net, and they not only get 1, but they go on to get 4 goals in this with some nice passing play and a little bit of a interception in the midfield. Lets Astral with some time. He's able to pass it over to Itachi, and right off the kickoff, they're able to get the 4th one to get the Game 2 win. Willams Resolve were able to get a goal in the end of Game 2, but it offered little consolation as they hoped to bounce back in Game 3. Willams Resolve was able to take a 1-goal lead into Game 3, but it didn't last for long as Karmine Corp was able to make a nice passing play. And to add insult to injury, Karmine Corp is able to get a 0-second goal to win Game 3. Willams Resolve did show a bit of fight back in Game 4, so they were able to take an early lead, a nice rebound goal from Sazin, and were able to turn 1 goal into 2 goals quickly thereafter, and it was pretty much them running the show in Game 4, which is exactly what they needed to stay in this contest to try to get a reverse sweep started. And a lucky deflection to his own net, but Willams Resolve players will not care about that so much. They just want to keep scoring goals, and they are able to do so, where goals are just aplenty in Game 4, it seems like. Karmine Corp are able to get on the scoreboard at least with around 2 minutes left, but it seems a little bit too late, as Willams Resolve is able to keep scoring. And this game ends in a 9-goal thriller, with Karmine Corp getting 1 more as the clock runs out. Willams Resolve was able to stop the sweep, and they got a little bit of momentum on their side going into Game 5. Karmine Corp were able to get the first goal on the board as the defender from Willams Resolve mistakenly did a backflip, and Itachi passes to Astro for goal number 2, but with 40 seconds left, Willams Resolve trying to make a comeback, and they're able to get 1 with around 30 seconds left. They're looking for the equalizer, and Prime takes it off the sidewall. No one challenges him, finds a nice pass over to Sazin, who puts it in, and are able to force overtime And in overtime, they are able to win it and force Game 6 with 2 wins off the bounce. And they get the first goal in game number 6, the second goal in game number 6, and the third goal and the final goal of the game is off a nice flipper set off the backboard. Willams Resolve looking good to try to get the reverse sweep done, but Karmine Corp are the first team to get the goal in game 7 with a nice beat, and they're looking for goal number 2. Can't quite connect on the pass, and Reduction tries to clear it out of his own half, but Prime puts in the middle. No one challenges Reduction with a nasty redirect on that, but Karmine Corp is able to tie it up, and we go into overtime in game 7, but it's Karmine Corp that will find the final victory that they were looking for. The other quarterfinal winners were Dignitas beating SMPR and Endpoint beating Misfits. Now let's look at the semifinal action. Getting into the semifinals between BDS and Dignitas, it was Extra who had a nice air dribble in order to get the first and only goal of the game in game 1 to give BDS the win, and they continue scoring in game 2 as they take a 2-goal lead on Dignitas with about half the game left to go, but Dignitas is able to get a goal back right from the kickoff. This is Dignitas' first goal of the semifinal series so far, but it wasn't enough to force overtime, and they lose game 2. But in game 3, they do start off on the front foot, getting the first goal and the second goal. BDS, however, was able to get the last goal, but Dignitas would take their first game in game 3, and it's on to game 4. With Extra taking his time a little bit, able to fake out one and get a nice goal. BDS to start off. Dignitas would come back, and it would take us into overtime to find a winner, which would be BDS, as Dignitas double commit for that, and are left open and back. Scrub Killer tries to defend, but a nice pinch assist gets marked by the goal. They continue to score in game 5 as they start off with the early lead, but Dignitas is able to pull one back and tie it up in a must-win game for Dignitas. They are not the ones who take the next lead. It is BDS who take it and find the second goal from a nice passing play off the backboard. Dignitas, however, showing some grit, is able to get the next goal to tie it back up, and Dignitas would take the lead late in the game as apparently Jack is able to beat everyone to the ball and put it into an empty net. BDS trying hard to find an equalizer in the last seconds, and they're able to get it from Extra to mark by 8 right in front of the goal and force overtime yet again. In overtime, as Dignitas try to move down the field, it's BDS who intercepts it off their own back wall with a nice deflection, which Scrub Killer was not expecting, and Monkey Moon is able to put it in to win the game and move them into the finals. Into the other semifinals with Endpoint taking on Karmine Corp, and Karmine Corp already scored, and Endpoint retaliate right back, and they keep continuing going blow for blow in this first game of the semifinals, as Endpoint takes the lead, but Karmine Corp, not to be outdone, will tie it up, and they force it into overtime, where Karmine Corp are able to finish it off and get the first win of the semifinals. In the second game, it's Endpoint who will take the early lead as an intercepted pass right over to Sioku, was able to put it in for the first goal, and they add a second one from a nice pass by Relating Wave down to Sioku to put in his second goal of the game. Karmine Corp are able to get lucky on a missed touch from Sioku to get one goal, but it wasn't enough as Relating Wave finishes them off, and it's tied at 1 apiece going into game 3. It is Endpoint who are able to challenge the 50 on the side wall and get a nice deflection into the goal for the only goal in game 3 and a win. But Karmine Corp are not out of this yet, and they get 2 goals in game 4, and that was enough to win them game 4. In game 5, we have Karmine Corp taking the early lead with a nice little read off Astro, and they're able to add a second one with Stake getting a nice double touch off the backboard. No one is able to read it, and Tachi puts it in. That is enough to win them game 5, and it's on to game 6 with Sioku putting Endpoint up yet again, and Karmine trying to break out of their own half. Stake runs out a boost. No one is able to challenge it. Sioku just barely puts it off the crossbar, down but not in, and he makes a nice infield pass to Metasars, who puts it in to get the 2-0 lead. Karmine Corp are able to find a bump play to get 1 goal back, but with time running out, they are just not able to find a second goal, and Endpoint will end up winning Game 6, and we go to Game 7. In Game 7, it is Endpoint who are able to get the win as Seiko finds a nice angle on the shot for the only goal. With the semifinals being won by Team BDS and Endpoint, now let's take a look at the finals between them, which is a best of 3 set for best of 7. In Game 1, it is Endpoint who are able to get off to an early lead as BDS overcommits a little too hard, but BDS is able to make a comeback quite quickly. There's a nice pass by Monkey Moon over to Mark by 8, and Seiko gets a little bit too high, and we go into overtime where it is Team BDS with a nice bump play which gives them game number 1 win, and we're into game number 2 with BDS continue their scoring. As they already got 1 goal, they are looking for a second, and it's extra, finds a loose ball, passes over to Mark by 8, and he puts it in to get a 2-goal lead, but it's Endpoint trying to press to get their first goal of game number 2, and they just didn't connect, and Relating Wave with an unfortunate touch allows that to be an empty goal for them, and it's 3-0. They are able to get a consolation goal, and so we go into Game 3. In Game 3, it's Endpoint that get the first and only goal of Game 3 with Seiko. Get a nice air dribble, is able to avoid everyone and put it in, and we head into Game 4, where Endpoint finally get their first win of the series. Monkey Moon with some space though is able to put it into an empty net and give BDS the lead in Game 4, which they turn into 2 goals real quickly. As some play in Endpoint's half turns out with a nice 50 win for Monkey Moon, and they get another goal right off the kickoff. Team BDS is able to get another goal off the post, and they're winning 4-0 with only 10 seconds left. Endpoint is able to get 1 goal, but it'll be a consolation. Endpoint would be able to find themselves the first and only goal of Game 5 as they're able to scramble on a loose ball that pops out into the middle, and Relating Wave is the first one to react to it. So they are still in the series, and they're able to get the first goal in Game 6 with Seiko picking his spot really nicely, and a demo comes through for goal number 2 to happen. Seiko again, and who else was Seiko? Passing over to Metasars, who hits it off the crossbar, is able to get back to his own touch and put it in. And a nice little deflection out to Seiko with a demo coming through. And that makes 4, but Team BDS gets a nice kickoff goal. And another goal for Endpoint, as the goals are coming quick and fast in this game. And off the kickoff, Team BDS is able to get their second, trying to make a comeback with only 30 seconds left. Doesn't seem likely, but they get a third one, and that is it for them. As we go into Game 7, it is Mark by 8 who's able to put in the first goal with just a couple seconds on the clock. Endpoint looking for the comeback already, and they get it to tie it up, and Seiko again trying to air dribble, gets blocked. Mark by 8 gets stuffed, so it's in his own corner, and Metasars who's able to find the corner, and they take the lead in Game 7, and Metasars again is able to finish it off, and they take the first series win 4-3. With the second set underway now, already 2 goals have been scored, and it's Endpoint are able to keep the ball in BDS's half, beat a couple players with speed, get a nice 50, and Relating Wave is able to put it in, which gives them a goal lead, but not for long. It's BDS is able to make a comeback, and it's BDS who will end up taking the lead as Relating Wave gets a little bit too far forward, and Extra is able to put it into an empty net. The goals don't stop there though, as Team BDS will get 1 more for the road and take the first game win. It is Seiko with a nice flick up to himself that gives Endpoint the early lead in Game 2, and they will double that lead as Metasars is able to be the first one to the ball, dropping underneath the goal of BDS to give them the 2-goal lead. They look for a third and are able to get it as the ball pops out and no one challenges Seiko for the ball, and he's able to put it in for the third goal. Team BDS trying to make a comeback is able to get one. With 30 seconds left, they get a second, but that's it. And Endpoint are able to tie it up at 1 apiece. In Game 3, we go into overtime as Metzenars is the one who puts it in for the first and only goal of Game 3. And Endpoint starting to find a bit of form against a good BDS team, looking for the first goal in Game 4. But it's BDS who come down the field. Monkey Moon dribbles by one, gets by another, passes into the middle. Seiko's there to cut it out. Takes the ball, tries to dribble to half field, and Metzenars bails him out a little bit, and he wins a 50 right in front of the goal and is able to get the Game 4 win for his team. And in Game 5, it's BDS who start off the scoring in the early minutes and are able to add a second with time running late with a double commit, but luckily Monkey Moon is there to read it, goes bar down and in, and they are able to get their second win of the series. And in game number 6, we have a missed touch by Monkey Moon, who then Lane Wave puts it up. Monkey Moon is able to grab the boost, get back to it, no one hits it off the backboard, and he's able to put it in for the first goal. Endpoint would come right back though, as Seiko is the first one to be able to read that off the ceiling. And in Game 6 overtime, it's who other than Monkey Moon to get a flip reset over the defense and able to bring this game to Game 7, where it's Monkey Moon who puts in the first goal. Relating Wave, no one challenges him, misses it, but Seiko's there to put it back in. And in overtime, it's Metasaurus against Mark by 8, and he's able to get by him and put it into Relating Wave, who will finish the job and win Endpoint the series 2-0. Well, that was all the action, as Endpoint are able to come out victorious in the Fall European Regional Event number 1. Make sure to stick around for the Fall North American Regional Event number 2 highlights coming soon.